What you're about to hear is one of the most chilling disappearances ever recorded in the remote wilderness. Rather than simply retelling events, I've immersed myself in the known details and pieced together a broader picture. Not just of what happened, but what it must have felt like. As I worked through the evidence, the silence surrounding this case became just as haunting as the footage left behind. Let's dive deep into a mystery that refuses to fade. On the morning of September 2nd, 2010, 34-year-old Jonathan Jett and his 25-year-old girlfriend, Rachel Wagner, embarked on a multi-day expedition into the mountainous wilderness near Peton, British Columbia. Their route began at Mount Matil, with plans to cover approximately 26 kilometers to reach Valentine Lake. Rachel was scheduled to begin volunteer work at a local children's center following the trip, while Jonathan planned to return to the United States. However, after entering the Mount Matil region on September 4th, the couple disappeared without leaving any clues behind. Authorities later located their Toyota sedan, which still contained Jonathan's phone and camera. Hotel records showed they had stayed overnight in Peton on September 3rd. Early the following morning, they set out for their hike. Jonathan parked their vehicle along a wooded path at the base of the mountain, roughly 1.2 kilometers from a nearby service outpost. The hike to the summit was estimated to take around 5 hours. Concern arose when Rachel's sister Elizabeth didn't hear from her that evening, something highly unusual for her. After unsuccessful attempts to reach her, Elizabeth filed a missing persons report with local law enforcement on September 6th, prompting an immediate search. Investigators quickly discovered the couple's parked car. Inside, they recovered the phone and camera, but there was no trace of Jonathan or Rachel. Phone records indicated no activity after the morning of September 4th. While a few work-related messages were logged, they offered no clues. The digital camera held several nature photos, though 2 images stood out. One depicted a damaged tree in a suspicious state, and another showed a bear seemingly tracking them from a distance. 2 video clips were also found. The first, recorded on the night of September 3rd at their hotel, showed a humanoid figure lingering near a window, attempting to open it. Its appearance was hard to make out, though the hands appeared unusually large. The hotel's owner later confirmed the incident and shared footage of Jonathan contacting the police. Authorities arrived but were unable to locate anyone or anything suspicious. Strangely, in 2022, 12 years after the couple's disappearance, the innkeeper also went missing and has yet to be found. More about the second video will be revealed later. On September 6th, aerial searches began with 3 helicopters making over 50 flights across Mount Matil and nearby valleys. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, alongside volunteers, scoured caves, ridges, and forests without success. The formal search was called off in October. Although a hat was found and initially believed to belong to Rachel, it was later identified as belonging to another hiker. Some unusual human-like footprints were found during the operation. Officer Steve Clare of the RCMP suggested the pair might have gotten lost and were unable to find their way back. The region's weather in September is humid and foggy, often complicating rescue efforts. Many search volunteers slipped while navigating the rough terrain. Jonathan and Rachel were both seasoned hikers. Jonathan climbed weekly and held a formal certification, while Rachel had been hiking since childhood. The park ranger noted that the mountain receives little foot traffic, especially after dark when temperatures drop and fog becomes dense. The challenging landscape is especially dangerous for inexperienced trekkers, despite a 10-day search totaling more than 2,000 hours. There was no sign of the missing couple. Their families later hired professional climbers to continue searching, suspecting they may have fallen into a crevasse, but even that yielded no results. Mount Matil, located in Joffre Lakes Provincial Park, rises 2,783 meters above sea level. Its high-altitude meadows and thick, unmarked forest can easily disorient even the most experienced hikers. The region is usually explored during daylight hours, as nighttime poses severe risks. Proper mountaineering gear such as ropes, crampons, and ice axes is essential. Purchase records confirm that Jonathan and Rachel had planned to camp overnight. He had bought a light green two-person tent, and she had picked up 2 blue down sleeping bags, non-perishable food, a folding knife, and bear spray. 3 primary theories have been considered in the case. The first suggests an animal attack, but this seems unlikely. While Mount Matil is home to black bears and cougars, such attacks are rare. Over the previous 5 years, only 3 attacks had been reported in British Columbia, and no fatal bear encounters had ever occurred within the park. Black bears typically avoid humans, and even if one had attacked, the couple was armed with deterrents, making a fatal outcome for both improbable. Jonathan, physically fit and well-trained, was experienced in wilderness survival. The second theory is that the couple became disoriented or fell into an inaccessible area. Although possible, this scenario lacks solid support. Their last photographs, dated September 4th, imply they reached their destination, explored it, then returned to their car. It is considered highly unusual for experienced hikers to leave behind essentials like phones and cameras unless they were forced to do so under sudden, unexpected circumstances. The third and most controversial theory involves a potential encounter with Bigfoot. This idea stems from a second video clip recovered from their camera. In it, the couple appears deep in the forest. Jonathan seems to sense they are being watched. The video captures the sound of cracking branches and an eerie, high-pitched whistle. When the camera pans around, a large, dark figure is seen watching them. Although it doesn't move, its towering, broad frame is clear. Renowned Bigfoot researcher Tom Powell has claimed that the creature often becomes aware of humans before they spot it. In areas known for sightings, bird behavior tends to shift dramatically, as if sounding alarms. Bigfoot is also known for employing intimidation tactics such as breaking branches, whistling, or throwing stones. In rare cases, it may become violent if its territory is invaded. Another disturbing clue came from a tracker named Kavit. While leading a search dog into the woods, the animal abruptly froze and trembled, refusing to go any further. Behavior that often signals a sensed threat. While it's possible the figure in the hotel footage was a transient or thief, the second recording seems more directly tied to the couple's disappearance. If Bigfoot was indeed following them, some believe it may have ambushed them after they became separated. Bigfoot is believed to travel in groups and may have surrounded them. One theory proposes that Jonathan, having reached the car first, may have realized Rachel was missing and returned to look for her, vanishing himself in the process. When police discovered their vehicle, both his camera and phone were inside. This suggests he returned to the vehicle but then went back out, possibly to search for Rachel. Why he would leave behind their electronics and not immediately drive away remains one of the case's lingering mysteries. To this day, no trace of Jonathan or Rachel has ever been recovered. Their families, who say the couple was engaged and planning a wedding shortly after the trip, continue to search. Rachel was a compassionate medical student who volunteered in underserved communities in Colombia. She enjoyed painting and music. Jonathan was described by his relatives as honest and reliable. The trip was supposed to be a pre-wedding getaway. Instead, it became the start of a 14-year mystery. Their loved ones still post reward notices, desperate for any new information. "People tell me to stop," Jonathan's father said, "but I'll keep searching. I want him home just like any soldier lost overseas."